is CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Elliot Rodriguez, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at the top stories right now. We begin with a terrifying home invasion in Southwest Miami-Dade. Police say 3 men are behind the crime, and they took off with the family's SUV. CBS News Miami's Morgan Reiner has more on what neighbors are saying.
Sean Lilly and his fiancee saw 3 men walking around their neighborhood Thursday morning just after midnight.
It was just weird that we saw 3 males in dark clothing walking up and down the street in the middle of the street. And they just, it was just peculiar because, I've been in this neighborhood almost 12 years and it's quiet over here.
He said he locked up his home, but then around 2 in the morning, he heard a scream.
It was a scream. It was like, oh my God. And then it went quiet, and we heard dogs barking last night.
The Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office said around midnight, 3 men walked up to a man standing in front of his home across the street from Lily's.
He was ambushed by them. He did not know they were there, and they approached him at gunpoint and took him into the home. Once they took him inside of the home, they gathered the rest of the family, took them into a room. One of them held him at gunpoint, held the family at gunpoint, and the other 2 ransacked the rest of the house.
The robbers stole jewelry, clothing, and a car.
This was a scary situation, right? There's 3 armed men. They were wearing masks. They were inside of their home. So we're fortunate that no one was injured in this incident.
It's still unclear how they got to the neighborhood in the first place, if they drove and parked nearby, if they were dropped off, or if they walked. But MDSO said the men got away in the family's white Cadillac SUV and are asking neighbors in the area to check their cameras.
I pray for the family and hope they're okay.
All right, that was Morgan Reiner reporting. We'll hear from the homeowner as he describes why he thinks he was targeted tonight on CBS News Miami at 5.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
Right now, let's take a live look at downtown Miami. Pretty nice out there, a little warmer and more humid than yesterday. Next Weather Chief Meteorologist Ivan Cabrera has details.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to crank things up for the weekend and get ready for some more warmth and humidity. In fact, I think we'll feel like about low 90s by Sunday, so this is still refreshing. Upper 70s, the humidity is still low. We got a nice breeze coming in off the water. We talked about a little disturbance coming in on a southwest flow here, and that's been triggering a couple of showers. Problem is the disturbance has a lot of uphill climb because it has got other competing factors that kind of make the showers really not materialize all that much. But we did get a pretty good downpour there through Key West over the last several hours, and it's still there in the atmosphere, right? So as we head through later into the afternoon and evening, I still think, again, the models are overdoing this, so I'm keeping rain chances at 10%. But you can see that just insistence of Next Weather Rain Tracker pushing a few isolated showers up towards Broward. And that, again, would be for later on this evening, I'd say after 7 o'clock until 11. So we'll watch that. As far as radar and clouds across the eastern U.S., relatively quiet. A weak disturbance there, creating some issues across the Atlanta area. But otherwise, this is the big storm, and you're going to hear about this because this is not only going to come in our direction, but as it pushes east, really going to be one of those first, severe weather outbreaks in the spring as it meets the Gulf of Mexico. Moisture, watch the movement here. Everything pushes east. This front will start developing. It'll pump in moisture from the Gulf, and this is really going to be quite a storm system here. You can see that through Saturday, Sunday. The good thing is that by the time the front gets here associated with that big storm, we are not going to be looking at severe weather. We're going to be looking at just some rainfall here, which we need badly, right? We've been saying that. 10% coverage again for tomorrow as far as isolated showers, but this is really our only shot. It seems some rainfall across South Florida over the next 7 days. So we'll close up in and show you Next Weather Rain Tracker through the rest of tonight. Again, the isolated showers. And then here comes your Friday. We're going to have a nice kickoff now. No disturbance tomorrow. It's just an east breeze here that's going to perhaps during the heating of the day with a little moisture trigger a few isolated showers. Those will be moving in the other direction as we head through tomorrow. And the coverage is still going to be pretty low. As far as the temperatures, yeah, that warming trend continues. Look at the low 70s for Sunday, right? night. That is going to set up the hottest day so far that we've had here, because temperatures are going to be in the mid-upper 80s, and the feels like numbers are going to be quite up there. There are the highs. No records, but it's all about humidity. We start talking about this time of year, but that is a cold front, the one that will bring us some rainfall. So despite the humidity going up, it comes back down after the front. So we still have some time to get these fronts through here and cool us off after big heat. Temperatures in the afternoon at the low 80s as we head through tomorrow afternoon, and then we're going to get into the mid-80s. Slight chance of a shower. Now Sunday night, the rain associated with that front begins to move in, and that'll be with us on St. Patrick's Day with about 40% coverage. After that, we close the spigot again. We're talking sunshine as we head through the end of the week, with temperatures the upper 70s to lower 80s and lower humidity once again.
Ivan, thanks a lot. A small plane that was forced to make an emergency landing in front of a school playground in Miramar was removed late this afternoon, and now we're hearing the calls for help made from the pilot. CBS News Miami's Ted Scouten has our report.
We got an engine failure, so just gonna land somewhere here. 3055 Bravo, you said engine failure? Yeah, we got engine failure, 5 Bravo.
A very calm pilot telling air traffic control he's experiencing engine failure.
November 55 Bravo, souls on board and fuel, please. We have full fuel and we have 2 souls on board, 3055 Bravo.
We see on Flight Radar 24 he's circling, possibly looking for a safe place to land.
You going to be able to make it to the field? Oh, I don't think so. We'll be able to make it to the field, so just gonna land right here.
And that's exactly what he did. You can see skid marks where he put down the plane at Coconut Palms Elementary School.
Pilot did such an excellent job. He did what he did, and nobody got hurt. I just give thanks.
Some good news there. All right, that was Ted Scouten reporting. President Donald Trump says he is standing by his tariff policy, even as it triggers retaliatory measures from key allies. The White House is also taking aim at a series of environmental regulations today. CBS News Miami's Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
Should be higher. President Trump says he's not going to back down on tariffs even as a trade war with allies escalates.
We've been ripped off for years, and we're not going to be ripped off anymore. No, I'm not going to bend at all.
Writing on Truth Social Thursday, the president slammed the EU for a 50% tariff on whiskey, saying if it's not removed, the U.S. will put a 200% tariff on all wines and other alcohols from Europe.
The European Union is very, very nasty.
The Trump administration is also taking aim at environmental regulations beefed up under the Biden administration. The EPA announced plans to roll back rules on pollution, electric vehicles, and air quality, said the agency would reconsider the 2009 scientific finding that greenhouse gases are a danger to the public. The administration says the moves are aimed at cutting costs, but they're expected to face legal challenges.
They are taking us back to the 1960s, from before the times when we had regulations that actually cleaned up our water, protect people from across our country from cancer-causing agents in our air.
Today is the deadline for the EPA and other federal agencies to submit plans for mass layoffs as part of the ongoing efforts to downsize the federal government. Over on Capitol Hill, lawmakers are staring down a Friday deadline to avert a partial government shutdown.
Democrats need to decide if they're going to support funding legislation that came over from the House or if they're going to shut down the government. So far, it's looking like they plan to shut it down.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says there aren't the votes to advance the House-passed funding bill, proposing a smaller and shorter stopgap measure instead to give lawmakers more time to negotiate. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
When we come back, spring breakers hit Miami Beach, what the city is doing to keep visitors and residents safe. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. I'm Elliot Rodriguez in for Naja Sherman. Today marks the start of one of the busiest spring break weekends. That means the rules in Miami Beach will be different. Here are just a few of them. Parking garages and surface lots south of 23rd Street will be closed. There will be a $100 flat fee for parking rate for visitors in some garages. Some beaches close at 6 p.m. And there will be DUI checkpoints on the main causeways leading to the beach. For a complete list of all the rules, just go to our website, cbsmiami.com. Spring break is in full swing. Airports across the country and South Florida are expected to be busier than ever. CBS News Miami's Chris Van Cleve reports from Phoenix, Arizona.
Spring break is taking the Porter family from Phoenix to Florida. They usually do a road trip to California, but this year Jenna Porter and her 3 kids are hopping a flight to Panama City.
We wanted to try somewhere new, and all of our kids wanted to do a beach town, so it was the next best thing.
The TSA expects a 5% jump in flyers over last year. At Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, the nation's second busiest, that translates to 4.8 million flyers over the next couple of weeks. And while U.S. airlines are warning of slowing demand following the plane crashes, a drop in government travel, and economic uncertainty, United says spring break 2025 will be a record breaker, with the airline flying more than 24 million passengers by the end of April, with this week its busiest.
We are paying a bit more this year than we were last year, but it's not stopping people from traveling.
Aixa Diaz from AAA says on average domestic airfares are up 7% from last year, while hotel stays will cost you 8% more.
Spring break is one of those weeks that kids are off already, college kids are off, so families want to get together and go somewhere.
Gas is about 30 cents a gallon cheaper than spring break 2024. Good news for Kristen Jankowski, who flew to Atlanta to start a family road trip.
We're driving down to Miami, and then we're going to spend like a day down there, and then we're going to get on a cruise and then go from there.
There are still deals out there. You just have to be flexible with your travel dates and the place you go to visit.
Travel mom Emily Kaufman says bundling airfare, hotel, and rental cars can help save on a last-minute getaway, saving about $400 on 4 nights in Hawaii from Los Angeles or Nassau from Charlotte.
There are so many fantastic vacation destinations, and it's all about supply and demand. You might consider looking at a destination dupe. Instead of going to one of the most popular places, look for another destination that offers something similar.
Top travel destinations include Orlando, several other cities in Florida, Los Angeles, and Hawaii. International Europe dominates the list, but United says they also saw a boost in people booking last-minute winter getaways to squeeze in one more weekend on the slopes. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.
They all sound like great destinations. And finally, the fair is back. The Miami-Dade Fair and Expo in West Miami-Dade just opened its doors. It runs through April the 6th. Tickets are now on sale. Prices are from $12 to $16. Unlimited rides cost between $30 and $40. This year's theme is Retro Rewind. Our next weather meteorologist, Dave Warren, will be at the fair. Watch for his live reports tonight on CBS News Miami at 5. And that's our CBS News Miami Quickcast. I'll see you on CBS News Miami beginning at 5 o'clock.